The Rwanda Stock Exchange is a marketplace where shares, bonds, and other securities are bought and sold. Since its start in January 2011, they have been able to work with over 5 companies that are in Rwanda and the rest of the region. From Balihwa to Chumi supermarkets, all these companies need to borrow money from the public, and they do so in form of bonds and shares. So what are these items?
When you buy shares in a company through an IPO, that is an initial public offer, when a company goes to the public for the first time to raise funds. So you are buying shares in the company. It means that you are belonging to that company. So investors out there, they buy shares from the companies and the companies issues the shares to the public. So now you are a shareholder. When they call for an annual general meeting of the company, you are called. When the company makes money and they distribute a dividend, that is income for you after 1 year. You get a dividend. That is shares. But the company can decide also not to call for people who buy shares. The company decides now to raise funds by way of getting debt. So now they issue bonds. Bonds, basically it's a contract between you and the company for a specific period of time. Say, for example, actually I&M, BCR Bank, they have a bond here listed. International Finance Corporation, they have a bond listed for 5 years. BCR Bank came to the market to borrow money from the public. So in that case, you are not belonging to BCR. You are not a shareholder. You are just a lender like any other lender. So they give you interest every year, specific. You agree on the kind of interest. Now, today, like government bonds are paying 11.4% for 3 years. For 5 years, they are paying 11.8%. If a 7-year bond, which is coming actually in the next 2 weeks here in Rwanda, government is issuing a 7-year bond, which is going to pay probably slightly higher than 12% probably, because the longer the maturity, the longer you are going to be paying in terms of interest. So when you are lending money to a company, you have bought a bond.
With the fast growth in the ICT sector in Rwanda, it has often been wondered why the Rwanda Stock Exchange has not yet been automated. Well, Mr. Silasta explains.
Well, we still work on whiteboard, first of all, for 2 reasons. The first one, when you are creating a market, this market is intangible enough. When you talk to Eregro Mwananchi, like you like to say, they know cows, they know, shamba, they know the house, they can touch it, but shares are intangible enough. So when you are starting, normally, since you do not have many transactions taking place, you can afford to use a whiteboard because there is not a lot of transactions taking place. You need a physical place to look at. So people, when they see a physical place, they start being curious. So that's why we went by that way, because there was not enough business to justify even automating from the beginning. So it cost a lot of money to automate. However, we have good news. Today, Rwanda Stock Exchange and our operations are 50% automated. Meaning that what matters the most is where you are stocking your shares you have bought. That part is fully automated. We have a central securities depository at the central bank, which is where your shares, when you buy them, they are kept in a safe place electronically. That one is electronic. That's why when you open an investment account, you open a central depository account, which is basically an account for shares and bonds. So that one is fully automated. So now, the only part remaining is the trading part, where you see those guys shouting at each other, like you've seen just now. That one is still a whiteboard. However, we have already concluded the negotiations. We have a system here on our floor for automation. So it's a world-class technology, which we are going to be using in the near future. All we are waiting for is interfacing with that, the bank of shares at the central bank. So we are working on interfaces between the central securities depository for that to happen. So when that time comes, we announce that officially, that we have fully automated, and will be as automated as any market on this planet.
It is expected that in the near future, the Rwanda Stock Exchange will be more competitive, vibrant, and have even more Rwandan shareholders working with them. Good news, especially for businesses in the country. Karangwa Fidelis, Rise and Shine Rwanda.